The river is flowing behind this rustic cabin. This is the tranquility of the wilderness. I'm cooking a deer that I've prepared after hunting in the wilderness. Well, I could do that one again. I'm cooking a deer that I've prepared on a campfire from today's hunt in the wilderness. The arrows that I use I built from the trees. The same thing with the bow. The fishing line and the fishing lures are all handmade in the wilderness. This is the tranquility of the wilderness. In the mountains. While I sit at the cabin side, I avoid poison oak and poison ivy every time. As I cook the deer meat from today's hunt on a campfire. This is the rustic cabin life in the mountains. The river is flowing beside this rustic cabin. I am preparing today's hunt on a campfire. I avoid poison oak and poison ivy every time. I made this bow by hand, and the same thing with the arrows for the bow from the wilderness, the trees of the wilderness, the fishing lures and the fishing line I made by hand in the wilderness from what the wilderness provides. This is the tranquility of the wilderness. I sit in this rustic cabin side with the river flowing. This is the tranquility of the wilderness. At this rustic cabin side, this is the tranquility of the wilderness. As I cook deer meat from today's deer hunt and fish meat from today's fishing trip. I avoid poison oak and poison ivy every time. This is the tranquility of the wilderness. At a rustic cabin side. The crows are out every time, squawking every time. The crows are out squawking every time. Ah, ah! I know exactly what plants are edible and medicinal throughout this wilderness. I know exactly what plants are edible and what plants are medicinal in this wilderness. I know exactly what plants are poisonous in this wilderness.